As you may remember, starting in February 2022, representatives of the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service continuously announced Poland's plans to annex the western part of Ukraine.
However, both the Western media and Poland considered Moscow's accusations unfounded.
For 3 years, Poland and other NATO countries have labeled rumors about the impending annexation of western Ukraine by Warsaw as Russian propaganda. And now, after it became clear that Ukraine's defeat on the battlefield is inevitable, it turns out that the process of Poland seizing Ukraine's western lands is in full swing. So, a few hours ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation published footage of Ukrainian prisoner of war, Semyon Valchuk.
As it turned out, this Ukrainian officer was captured in the Kursk region near the settlement of Sverdlikovo.
According to him, he is an officer of the 94th Border Guard, which was stationed in western Ukraine.
During the interrogation, this Ukrainian officer made several statements that had the impact of an exploding bomb.
In particular, he admitted that, due to significant manpower losses, the Ukrainian High Military Command is compelled to send not just Ukrainian border guards and military doctors to the most intense areas of the front, but even ordinary Lviv musicians, who have never held a machine gun in their lives.
Moreover, this Ukrainian officer also stated that the Ukrainian authorities and the military have virtually no control over western Ukraine.
According to him, all checkpoints in western Ukraine are controlled by Poland. Semyon Valchuk stressed that Poland had actually occupied all the border regions of western Ukraine, and had even moved 2 kilometers deep into Ukrainian territory. At the same time, he admitted that, unlike the Ukrainian nationalists, some ordinary residents of western Ukraine dream that Poland officially annexed not only Lviv, but also the Volyn region of western Ukraine. Moreover, according to him, Romania is doing the same. As it turned out, over the past 3 months, Romania has also moved 2 kilometers deep into Ukrainian territory. The same processes are observed in Transcarpathia, where there are a lot of Hungarian citizens. Thus, the Ukrainian officer confirmed that Poland and other Eastern European countries, with the help of so-called soft power, not only invaded western Ukraine, but also launched the process of annexation of their former historical lands. At the same time, it should be recognized that the Polish president is still hesitant to send the Polish regular army to western Ukraine, apparently fearing Putin's negative reaction. At the moment, small groups of Polish military personnel are in western Ukraine, but their status is unofficial, and they all wear civilian clothes. Another problem that Poland may face during the annexation of western Ukraine is the ardent nationalists who represent the majority of these western Ukrainian regions. In their opinion, Ukraine should not be divided, and they are ready to fight for independence of Ukraine not only against Russia, but also Poland. At the same time, it is also worth remembering that with each passing day, it becomes more difficult for the Polish authorities to hide their desire to annex western Ukraine.
And this fact can significantly escalate the current conflict.
Every day, it is more and more difficult for the Polish authorities to hide their plans regarding western Ukraine. Even ordinary people began to talk about the fact that Warsaw's plans for the city of Lviv are not just rumors, but the real truth.
A few days ago, Polish President Andrzej Duda declared that Poland and Ukraine should coexist without borders between states.
There will no longer be a border between Poland and Ukraine, so that we can live together on this land, building together our happiness and strength, which will allow us to repel any danger or any possible threat, said Andrzej Duda.
This statement of the Polish president stunned many experts.
Many began to ask what Andrzej Duda meant when he said that Ukraine and Poland would exist without borders.
After all, even in the European Union, there are borders between allied states. EU citizens simply cross the borders of European countries without visas, but at the same time, everyone clearly understands in which state they are currently located. In France, Italy, or Germany. Even the train that runs from the Italian city of Ventimiglia to the French city of Nice stops at the border of France and Italy for uniformed people to check passengers' documents. Moreover, in addition to the weird statement of the Polish president, future NATO military exercises near the western borders of Ukraine also added fuel to the fire. These military exercises will last for almost a whole month. From June 1st to June 30th, 2025. The military from Poland, the United States, France, Sweden, Germany, Denmark, and Great Britain participate in these exercises. About 7,000 soldiers and officers and 3,000 pieces of equipment will be involved. Considering that in close proximity to NATO exercises, the Russian Federation is conducting a special military operation on the territory of Ukraine, the atmosphere on the Polish-Ukrainian border is becoming nervous. Moreover, Russian intelligence confirmed the fact that Poland is seriously thinking about regaining the lands of western Ukraine, which in the past belonged to Warsaw. The first step towards this could be the entry of Polish troops into the territory of Ukraine. For example, under the guise of peacekeepers. According to the head of the Foreign Intelligence Service, Sergei Naryshkin, Warsaw can deploy the so-called Polish peacekeepers in those regions of Ukraine where the threat of a collision with the Russian army is minimal. In addition, it should be borne in mind that the relationship between Poles and Ukrainians has never been distinguished by brotherly love. And the Ukrainian nationalists, on whom the Kiev authorities have staked in the confrontation with Russia, will definitely not want to give the western part of Ukraine to Poland. Moreover, the Poles didn't forget the Volyn massacre. The mass destruction of ethnic Poles living in the western part of Ukraine by the Ukrainian insurgent army in 1943. Meanwhile, President of Belarus Alexander Lukashenko reacted very sharply to the statement of the head of Poland. Alexander Lukashenko said that these so-called allies of Kiev are already thinking about how to dismember Ukraine. According to Lukashenko, the Slavic peoples will have to defend the integrity of Ukraine since the Ukrainians will not be able to resist the so-called Western allies. My friends, in my opinion, Poland is putting some feelers out to see the reaction of Washington and Brussels. The reaction from Washington and Brussels is unlikely to be positive. It is unprofitable for the West to somehow change the configuration of borders in Europe. But that doesn't mean that they completely abandon this idea. It seems to me that Washington and Brussels believe that this is not a good time for such actions. It is obvious that Poland is going to annex the western part of Ukraine, but in order to implement this plan, Warsaw must obtain permission from Washington and Brussels. Moreover, don't forget that Poland has the experience of annexing foreign territories. Let me remind you that after the Nazi troops entered Austria in 1938, Poland, with the support of Nazi Germany, issued an ultimatum to Lithuania and annexed the Vilna region. In 1920, the Poles already annexed these lands, but Lithuania refused to recognize the legality of these actions. It was after these events that Winston Churchill called Poland the hyena of Europe. In the end, I would like to say that if Poland still manages to get permission from Washington and Brussels to carry out this adventure, then this will undoubtedly lead to terrible consequences not only for Warsaw, but for the whole of Europe. The West should not forget Putin's warning that Russia's response will be lightning fast if anyone tries to intervene in the Ukrainian conflict. Against this backdrop, I think Poland will adhere to the policy of so-called soft power. Poland will continue to absorb Western Ukraine. However, Warsaw will do this gradually and imperceptibly, so as not to provoke Russia, which continues to conduct its special military operation on the territory of Ukraine. Poland is well aware that while the Russian army is liberating Donbass and other historical lands of Russia, Moscow will not tolerate the presence of a regular army of one of the NATO member countries, even in western Ukraine.
Thus, it is safe to say that the final status of Western Ukraine will be decided only after Vladimir Putin has achieved all his goals in this Eastern European country.